I want to switch back now to what's happening on the election front, because as many as 100 Democratic House seats are in play. Republicans need a net gain of 39 to take control of the chamber. Let's bring in Mark Penn. You know him very well for his years of service here. He did work with Hillary Clinton during her campaign in 2008 as the chief political strategist, also played a senior role in the Bill Clinton White House, helping him to get reelected after the Republican Revolution of 1994. He's currently CEO of Burson-Marsteller. He joins us live from Miami this morning. Mark, it's great to have you on the show. Let's start off. We just gestured towards your service there with President Clinton and helping him to get reelected. If the House goes Republican this time around, as many project it to go, do you see a situation similar to what played out during the Clinton years and the Republican Revolution?
Well, I think that if the House does go Republican, you are going to have a similar situation with a president whose ratings will be kind of in the lower end of the spectrum and a new Republican Congress, and both are going to have to make some tough decisions. The Republicans may want to sit there for 2 years and try to see if they can win more seats by saying no. And the president may also want to tough it out. What happened after '94 was both the president and Speaker Gingrich made a decision that they were all better off doing some stuff for the country. And that's really what the voters want to see. But whether the outcome is going to go that way or not is not yet determined.
I mean, would you expect bipartisan action? I mean, some say November 2nd is the midterm elections, but November 3rd is when the presidential race for 2012 really gets underway. Is there a value in having an opposition in Congress? How does this change President Obama's bid?
Well, also remember, once you have the Republicans controlling the House, if that's what happens, they're going to have subpoena power. And typically the Republicans start to do investigations. And that's something we haven't had on the scene now for a couple of years.
What would you be expecting?
Well, I think they're going to go back. They're going to look at the political jobs things. They're going to look at health care deliberations. They're going to look at where they can create, headlines and kind of muck around. I mean, sometimes they obviously have gone overboard in that case. I mean, we saw what happened in '98. But I think you'll see the Republicans go investigations, and the administration is going to have to try to strike a bargain on taxes and spending. And that's going to be the essential question here, which is the U.S. going to continue to basically try to get jobs through stimulus, or is it going to go the direction of European economies and switch over and start to cut the deficit? That's going to be the big issue here, and whether or not they're going to work it out or not is going to be what happens after the midterms.
You were just talking about the possibility of what might be happening with subpoenas and whatnot in the next 2 years. There's been a lot of buzz about these undisclosed political donations, more than $250 million of undisclosed funds being donated within the past year. Would you be expecting something on that front in terms of an investigation?
Not by the Republicans, that's for sure. That's something where the Democrats might want to look into and say, did all of these groups follow clearly all of the laws involved, that are quite difficult and detailed. Obviously, the Supreme Court has come in here and created some big loopholes, which is what's created a lot of the undisclosed money. But to be fair, Democrats have had such organizations as well. It's not a new issue in politics.
No, it's certainly not. But you were talking about some of the battlegrounds there. Do you expect tweaking of health care reform? I mean, what's going to change on the actual agenda in the next 2 years?
Well, part of that's going to be what is the magnitude of the losses. If the House is held, then you're not going to see much tweaking in health care. If the House goes by 10, 15 seats or so, then I think you're going to see the potential of some tweaking on health care. You're going to see mounting cost issues. You're going to see the president want to take this off the table by the time he's up for the election. Most polls now are showing that 65% still oppose the health care bill, and that's a problem if that comes out in the votes on midterm.
We introduced you there, Mark, as also having worked with Hillary Clinton on her campaign for the presidency. Had the results gone differently? I mean, how would you have advised Hillary Clinton as president in a different way than President Obama has approached his agenda? You mentioned deficits as a real concern. You mentioned health care.
Well, look, I think that during these 2 years, people really wanted the economy to go first. And I think that the real question is the president, in trying to do a number of things at the same time, I think is getting significant blowback here for that. I think they wanted jobs, 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 and that's still what they're looking for today.
Mark, we got to leave it there.